Story 1. Social media has shifted from a way to connect with strangers for fun and stay updated with your real-life friends to primarily being filled with advertisements and sensational content. Story 2. Streaming services are chaotic. The internet is filled with bots, fake news, propaganda, political agendas, advertisements, subscription-based apps, data mining, phishing, and did I mention advertisements? I'm not overly nostalgic. I grew up with a landline connection, which was awful compared to now, but there was a sweet spot for me when smartphones started to emerge. Everyone had a BlackBerry, then the iPhone was released and you could get an app for 99 cents. Back when Facebook was literally for sharing with known friends and was very simple, back when Twitter was intended as a microblog and not a platform for political bots fighting each other, adult content, and graphic imagery. I understand that businesses have to operate, but we will never experience the internet like that again. It was limited, but it worked. Story 3. Fast food. Everything is disappointing now, and online ordering has diminished the in-restaurant experience. Additionally, most workers dislike their jobs and often quit because employers do not treat them well. Story 4. Technology in general. New technology used to be exciting and fun. Now it feels like my vacuum cleaner requires more money to operate poorly. Computers are not significantly faster, as they have become larger and run slower. Cars all look identical. Every colony game feels like Age of Empires with better graphics featuring wood, stone, and iron. What is even left? I imagine technology as a wave that came ashore thundering along, and now it is spread out, slow-moving, and identical in every direction. I had an Apple iEggs, and one day I installed an additional 32 kilobytes of RAM, which doubled its ability. Now an icon file is 10 times as large. Story 5. Video games. Greedy corporatism has severely damaged the industry due to numerous reasons. Story 6. Human rights. We were not even there, but there is no hope now. 10 years ago was the best we could have expected. Story 7. To be clear, I don't mean that there's no good music now. There is. It's just harder to find, less of it, and less culturally impactful than between 1960 and 2000. I think most people don't remember how slowly music evolved before that period. They assume that was the default baseline for how much good music you can expect to be exposed to. In reality, I think we've just returned to normal, and that period was an unusual boom in music quality due to technological development and cultural shifts that occurred after World War II. The birth of mass media and accessible radical creative thinking for normal working-class Western citizens, combined with the fact that capitalism hadn't caught up to it yet, has led to a period where capitalism has stifled music's creativity. Story 8. Nothing will beat the raunchy comedy of innovative channels like Smosh and Shane Dawson. Nowadays, no matter the content, every YouTuber essentially creates the same video repeatedly. Story 9. Not knowing the opinions of billionaires was much better when they were mysterious figures aloof from society. Story 10. Technically, we are still in the information age, but it has been weaponized. 20 years ago, the internet was excellent for discovering information. Today, people mainly get their news from social media, and discussions about politics often become echo chambers. Misinformation spreads rapidly, making it difficult to find reliable sources. Most individuals do not thoroughly read the content. They simply glance at the headlines and accept them as true. Story 11. Chain restaurants. Every chain I can think of has significantly decreased in food quality over the past 5 to 10 years. Story 12. Streaming and COVID-19 significantly reduced the number of people going to movie theaters regularly. Avengers: Endgame may have been the last must-see theater experience, both for the film itself and the crowd. Story 13. Air travel used to be so simple. Now, the Transportation Security Administration conducts random searches, and planes are crashing. Story 14. Pretty much everything, to be honest. Most things in all industries and sectors have gone downhill tremendously. The only thing I would say we are in a golden age of is willful ignorance and stupidity. Story 15. Democracy. A president we can respect and admire. A Congress that is strong and principled. A country with citizens who are thoughtful and informed. Story 16. Aquarius. Story 17. Movies. Every new film in the past 10 years has been a poorly crafted cash grab sequel or a subpar original movie that feels like it was written on a bar napkin. Story 18. YouTube is now almost everything about pleasing the algorithm, and the top YouTubers are individuals or corporations that take advantage of the algorithm. Story 19. Beer has hit a certain note and has become a meme in itself. The current frontier of brewing is non-alcoholic beer. Story 20. Gaming. A significant portion of games is live service or filled with excessive microtransactions. It seems rare to find high-quality campaign games. Everyone is becoming a corporate sellout. Story 21. Skateboarding has become a disgrace with the Olympics. Sometimes gatekeeping is necessary, but our gatekeepers have sold out. Story 22. The internet has become siloed into a few social media platforms, while everything else focuses on consumerism. Story 23. Value menus. Affordable options. The cost of low-quality products no longer represents their true worth. Story 24. We're in the golden age of random information. Enjoy sorting it out and see you tomorrow with another batch. Story 25. Being able to have a civilized discussion about topics we do not agree on is essential. I will defend this view vigorously. Story 26. The internet. Every aspect of it used to be better. Websites exist to generate revenue, not because someone thought it would be an enjoyable idea. People on YouTube create videos to fit the algorithm, not because it is something fun or quirky for them to do. Additionally, I miss the days when Flash games were widely available. You could go online and play games for free with minimal advertisements and no option to pay to play. Story 27. The American dream that baby boomers enjoyed while working in factories provided a house, a spouse, and children, all without attending college. That dream is dead. Story 28. Owning media has changed. Movies, music, and books are now available through digital rental instead of being physically owned. Story 29. Decency. I mean, on Reddit you are kind, but the things we do to one another in real life are downright sad. Story 30. The digital revolution has transformed our world. Smartphones have matured, social media has become optimized and monetized to harvest engagement, streaming has peaked, and the internet has become tiered, fragmented, and controlled. Technology brands no longer innovate. They simply use their resources to acquire competitors, and applications have become stale. We have experienced 15 to 20 years of a continuous stream of innovative ideas and solutions. These innovations were not only impressive but also addressed real problems. Now, they often seem irrelevant. Currently, the major advancements in mobile phones are minor improvements, such as being slightly lighter or having a better camera, remarkable. Every social platform has essentially tried to replicate the features of its competitors, resulting in a lack of uniqueness. We no longer own anything, we are merely subscribed to services. Story 31. Console games. I believe we peaked around the PlayStation 2 era. After that, major studios created larger and more expensive games and could no longer afford to take risks. Microtransactions became the norm to recoup costs and ensure a constant source of revenue. Story 32. Disney content. Marvel movies have been disappointing for a while. Andor is excellent, but the rest of the Star Wars series is lacking. Story 33. I miss the 1980s and 1990s movie scene, big old theaters that were nearly always three-quarters full. Every week had a new hit to see. I miss that. Story 34. We are nearing the end of the golden age of board games. We have seen many great board games in the last 10 to 15 years, and we will continue to see more as the years go by. However, we are likely to see a decline in the popularity of board games over the next 20 years, and unfortunately, we may be past the peak of board games after that. Story 35. The internet has provided us with information at our fingertips while also rendering it less valuable. There is so much misinformation that genuine information is often overlooked in favor of content that aligns with consumer comfort. Additionally, numerous ads are disguised as authentic content, making it difficult for many people to distinguish between what is real and what is fake. Story 36. People are so indoctrinated, influenced by propaganda, and divided that most cannot see the forest for the trees. Story 37. Everything. Literally everything. Tell me one thing in society that greed has not ruined. That's what I thought. Story 38. We peaked in the 1980s and 1990s when we were actually making progress in caring about diversity and treating each other with more respect. I think after Clinton, we started to backslide. Then with Obama, some blamed a black man for every woe of the world for 8 years, and it has been a disaster since. Story 39. Music. I know many talented artists are out there, but popular music often relies on the same chords, rhythms, and tonalities. Story 40. Microbreweries are facing challenges, according to friends in the industry and my own experience, along with beer festivals. A segment of the market is consuming less beer or not drinking it at all. Several leading microbreweries have been acquired. Additionally, the economy is struggling, particularly for younger individuals, which has led to reduced outings and lower spending when they do go out. Higher interest rates have created difficulties for existing breweries and made it harder for new ones to establish themselves. As a consequence, some large festivals, like the Great American Beer Festival, have scaled back, while some mid-sized and smaller beer festivals have disappeared. Not all aspects are negative. The industry was likely due for a correction because some emerging breweries were lacking in quality or were overly experimental to the extent that their products could hardly be classified as beer. Overall, the peak period for breweries seemed to be from around 2005 to 2020, possibly ending a little earlier. Issues were evident before the COVID-19 pandemic, but the pandemic significantly impacted many establishments that were already struggling, pushing some to a point of no recovery. Story 41. The Pax Americana is ending. Expect more conflict and territorial wars than there have been since 1945. Story 42. Chipotle used to taste better, and you used to receive larger portions with your order. The quality is noticeably worse, and it is much more expensive now. Story 43. Agricultural. There is less farmland and more people. The Green Revolution is long gone. Story 44. Everything we are experiencing is still part of the current age, and people often believe they are unhappy with it. Story 45. American game developers have lost their way. Japan and China are now leading the industry. If Capcom, From Software, and Square Enix were to cease operations, I would probably just take up reading. Story 46. The Internet. There used to be vast areas of the Internet where people engaged on message boards and various sites felt different. You could actually use the service you had already paid for without being overwhelmed by persistent ads to buy other products. Now, name one thing you can open without being sold something. Even Microsoft Word sells Office licenses. Story 47. Healthcare, education, affordable housing, quality jobs, pensions, great music, automobiles, air travel, and interpersonal relationships. I need to pause. This is becoming overwhelming. Story 48. Quality U.S. manufacturing. Some things are still built well here, but planned obsolescence is a challenge. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.